Hey, Isa, it was really nice what that guy Sam did for the people at the shelter. I can't believe he gave them all free food for the holidays.
Yeah, that guy only did that to improve his reputation.
What do you mean?
Well, I learned this thing in my theory of knowledge class.
I sit next to you in that class.
Oh, really? That was my other friend.
Mr. Nelligan teaches the class, and he's not even your friend.
Anyway, there's this argument called ethical egoism, which by definition is what we ought to do.
Isn't that the same as psychological egoism?
Actually, psychological egoism is the view that humans are only motivated by their self-interest. This theory claims that any action anyone commits is only done because of the personal benefits that it renders the person.
Oh, so it's the idea that each person ought to pursue what is in his or her own self-interest exclusively?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, ethical egoism says that people should commit actions exclusively for their self-interest, while psychological egoism says that it is what people just do, right?
Yeah, but I'm not really in favor of ethical egoism. People can justify all their actions with it, even if they're immoral.
No, but the argument is regarded to be ethical because everyone is working towards something in their own self-interest. And if we worry about what others want, we will be conflicting with their own self-interests.
I understand your point, but consider this. Rape is considered morally incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Nonetheless, if rape is analyzed through the argument of ethical egoism, then in the end it can be morally okay. That is because if it was in the person's own self-interest to rape this other man or woman, and said victim could not interfere or prevent the rapist from completing their duty, since it is wrong to hinder someone from completing their duty, then the rapist would be able to justify taking advantage of this person by saying that it was in their own self-interest, and it was not out of selfishness that this action would in turn be of an advantage to their own welfare.
Yeah, that's true, Isa. That's kind of an extreme argument, though, but I understand it because if not, I wouldn't have been able to understand the faultiness of ethical egoism and the fact that the people who endorse this aim to differentiate selfishness and self-interest. They, in the end, are the same, especially when argumenting something such as rape or killing.
Yeah, I mean, if I got really mad at someone all of a sudden, I could just kill them. I could just say that it was in my own self-interest to kill that person. Such as if I'm auditioning against somebody else for the same role, and I didn't want them to get in my way, I could kill them for the role so that I could get the role that I want. And because the other person can't interfere with me fulfilling my duty, then it would be ethically okay under this argument of ethical egoism to kill that person.
Wait, but I agree in that it's not justifiable to do things in life without taking into consideration others' needs. But is it even possible to commit actions without that action being of benefit to oneself?
Oh, you're talking about altruism. Altruism, which is the practice of action selflessly and with the concern of the well-being of others, I believe is not really feasible. Although one's intentions may be selfless, at some point, someone's actions always benefit oneself. And this is seen with many ethical organizations that promote the idea of universal prosperity, such as the United Nations, PETA, and Greenpeace.
Oh yeah, so Greenpeace, which is a non-governmental organization that works to preserve the environment and the world we currently live in, does pursue actions in their own self-interest. Their mission statement says that they want to ensure the ability of the earth to nurture life in all its diversity. Greenpeace has a goal to save the environment, but with selfish reasons such as the preservation of human and all life on earth.
You're right, Bea. However, this reason to preserve the planet truly is in the best interest of all living things. All the action they take towards conservation is to make sure that life on Earth prospers for all people and living things. Therefore, although there is self-interest in the actions taken by Greenpeace, making them not altruists, they do not fall under the category of ethical egoism because the goal of the organization is in the interest of all people.
Therefore, ethical egoism doesn't leave room for relativity. It doesn't differentiate the aspect of self-interest for actions such as the ones taken by Greenpeace and a rapist. It doesn't leave room for there to be a relative right or wrong. It just leaves room for the right to pursue your own self-interest and not interfere with the self-interest of others. But these self-interests are not the same. The need to preserve the environment versus the need to satisfy one's sexual needs cannot be justified with the same argument. Therefore, ethical egoism is not argument.
So for organizations such as Greenpeace, you can't say that they're ethically egoist. Even though they do focus on their own needs, they encompass the needs of others through the pursuit of universal welfare and prosperity, which is the conservation of the planet. But there are moments when one's own needs are more important than those of others.
Yes, for example, if I have cancer, I'm not going to go to Somalia to help the hunger-stricken children because I have to focus on my own needs. That doesn't mean that I don't care or think about their problems, hence ethical egoism is not a valid argument, because I know I ought to help these people, but my psychological egoism, which is what I actually do, is to protect and take care of myself in order to regain my health.
But yeah, We just cracked the code to life.
I know. Well,